In a world where most small SUVs became unibody crossovers long ago, the good old Suzuki Jimny Sierra stubbornly sticks to its roots, offering ultimate off-road performance without any compromises. And for the next year, nothing's going to change in this approach, but on the other hand, a full load of updates have been rumored. New engine, new body style, North American arrival. There are so many things going on, so make sure to stay with us as we take a look at the new 2025 Suzuki Jimny Sierra, an amazing compact SUV. The current generation of Suzuki's small off-roader was introduced in 2018. In other words, it doesn't seem all that old. However, there are some aspects that need updates. While the styling still looks flawless, things are completely the opposite under the hood. The current model still relies on the good old 1.5-liter naturally aspirated inline-4 with a max output of 102 horsepower. It's still good enough to move this small SUV with ease, but with governments around the world imposing stricter emissions rules, it's pretty clear that Suzuki engineers have to figure out something. After all, the SUV was already banned in most of Europe for emission standards, so Suzuki had to modify it into a commercial vehicle and remove the back seats to remain on the market. All in all, a fresh engine is needed, but details are still unavailable. At this point, the best we can do is rely on unofficial reports, and they suggest a couple of different scenarios. But all of them have one thing in common: it's time for a forced induction. One of the possibilities is to see Suzuki's familiar 1.4-liter Turbo 4 with a mild hybrid setup already seen in the Vitara with a max output of around 140 horsepower. However, so far, this engine has only been in transverse-mounted applications, so there are also reports that suggest we could see some kind of cooperation with Toyota instead, where the world's largest automaker would provide one of its engines for the new Jimny Sierra. Along with the engine, there's also the matter of transmission, particularly the version with the automatic gearbox. Namely, the current model still uses an old 4-speed unit which may be bulletproof and excellent for off-roading, but still lacks modern flavor and the level of convenience you'd expect from a vehicle produced in the 21st century. For that reason, we can hear rumors about the 2025 Jimny Sierra getting a new unit with more gears and more refinement. On the other hand, the 5-speed manual would most likely carry on without bigger changes. For years, Jimny lovers from all over the world have been convinced that Suzuki never used the full potential of this platform. For years, we've been waiting to see a pickup version. Moreover, many firms from different parts of the world specialize in this conversion. It started with second-hand examples, but these days, even the new models are converted and then sold to the public. We even saw a concept version back in 2018 at the Tokyo Auto Salon. On that occasion, we saw a version of the Jimny that looked like nothing before. Of course, it was based on a 3-door version, so there was room for nothing more than a tiny cargo bed. Short and not particularly practical, this cargo bed didn't seem particularly impressive, but the crowd was amazed by the concept's look. Of course, the famous boxy aesthetics were still there, but designers spiced up things with a whole bunch more of retro details, and those old-school wooden panels on the side definitely made the biggest impression. Furthermore, the pickup concept was stacked with details like LED lighting, chrome covers, massive bed bars, and other typical pickup upgrades, so it didn't come as a surprise that the concept was accepted extremely well. Now, when the company finally introduced a stretched 5-door version, the pickup version seems even more likely because there's now more room for a decently sized cargo bed. Compared to the 3-door version, the larger SUV features a 13.4-inch longer wheelbase, while the overall length goes pretty close to 157 inches. As we've just mentioned, the stretched wheelbase version brings a whole new spectrum of possibilities, including a pickup version. That model, of course, would come with a typical pickup body style, and while it's probably still too early for details, we have no doubt that the single cab layout is the way to go, in our humble opinion. That would make a fine balance between comfort and utility, while the cargo bed wouldn't be moved back, which inevitably leads to longer rear overhang and therefore a lower departure angle. Don't get us wrong, the rear departure angle won't be anywhere near the SUV version, but should remain decent enough. On the other hand, there's no reason for things at the front to be any different. For reference, the SUV features an impressive 37-degree approach angle. And while the exact size or some technical aspects are still unclear, some things about the new pickup are super easy to predict. One of them is the styling, because we're pretty sure that things won't be any different compared to the SUV, at least at the front. Simply, Suzuki nailed the styling of the current generation, and aesthetics definitely are one of the strongest selling points. A rugged, boxy appearance, complemented by an old-school aesthetic approach, has always been Jimny's thing, especially those classic details like upright A-pillars, a flat clamshell hood, a black grille, and a full load of black cladding. Despite the heavy modifications on the body, neither the pickup nor the two SUV iterations will get any change in terms of the chassis and suspension design. Because things are pretty clear here. This is a genuine off-roader, with body-on-frame construction, complemented by all kinds of rugged and proven design solutions. Of course, the suspension is the first thing that comes to mind, with solid axles, 3 links, and coil springs. That's a perfect combo for an off-roader, while the pickup iteration would certainly benefit from the rugged body-on-frame construction in the way that even such a small SUV has a 2,700-pound payload capacity, something that no compact or even mid-size pickup in North America can achieve, which may be one of the reasons why so many people speculate about Jimny Sierra's arrival to the US market. Now, let's get back to off-roading, Suzuki's primary occupation. Besides the aforementioned suspension setup, there are so many other things that turn this tiny little fellow into a super capable machine. First of all, there's the well-known all-grip 4-wheel drive system with selectable part-time 4-wheel drive. Drivers can engage 4-wheel drive, but that's recommended only on loose surfaces because otherwise, the axles and suspension could be damaged due to a specific design of the drivetrain. The SUV already comes in 2 variants. The original 3-door model comes in a compact package, and it remains the ultimate solution for off-roading. On the other hand, the recently introduced 5-door version, with a significantly stretched wheelbase, takes practicality to the next level and even imposes as a family hauler. And now the pickup truck is expected, and, if we can trust our sources, the Japanese manufacturer will most likely offer a single-row version only. But no matter the version on offer, the dashboard, center console, and similar areas will look the same. Things are very aesthetically appealing, even though most of the cabin is made from hard plastics. Somehow, the cabin leaves the impression of durability and longevity, and all that looks great when put together. Furthermore, although a hardcore off-roader, the Jimny Sierra comes with a long list of modern convenience features, and things could only get better in the 2025 model. Meanwhile, we can refer to the current model, which comes standard with power steering, air conditioning, heated seats, power windows, and many more. Those willing to pay extra may also count on various upgrades, such as automatic climate control, heated side mirrors, automatic high beams, a touchscreen, and many more. Finally, there's also a decent portion of safety and drive assist features, starting from lane departure warning, weaving alert, and Suzuki's well-known dual-sensor brake support, which is a kind of forward collision warning, backed with audio and visual warnings, and complemented by brake appliance to minimize risk of collision. For a long time, Suzuki has been absent from the North American market. That's a shame, especially in the case of models like Jimny, because such a small but capable SUV has no counterpart in this part of the world. And now, with the expected pickup truck version, the comeback seems more likely than ever. because this pickup may be a perfect option in the small pickup segment where the only thing you can get is a car-based unibody pickup like the Ford Maverick and Hyundai Santa Cruz. Don't get us wrong, these pickups are great, but Jimny Sierra would stand out with its more rugged design, much higher off-road potential, and even better towing and payload capacity. At the same time, it could be cheaper, pretty much a perfect pickup at these times when everything gets overly expensive. But despite being highly anticipated, its arrival in North America is still unclear. The officials are still quiet, so the only thing we can do at the moment is to wait and hope for the best outcome. What do you think of the 2025 Suzuki Jimny Sierra and its pickup version? Could this be a huge hit in North America? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.